Hello again, everyone. Welcome to Washington Gun Law TV. I am Washington Gun Law President William Kirk. Thanks for joining us. It is Wednesday. It's May 31st. Judgment Day is here. That's right. Armageddon Day is, in fact, here. Today is the final day for you to bring any firearm with an attached stabilizing brace into compliance with ATF Final Rule 2021R-08F, or what we call here the pistol brace rule. Now, we have done video after video after video. We have done way more videos than we probably should have on this, but there was such a level of confusion and frustration that we kept trying to clarify certain things. Now, as we go into the final hours of the deadline today, I know that there are many things that still have not been clarified. We apologize for not being able to get you some of that clarification because, well, we're trying to interpret what the ATF is doing as well. But I think when it comes to what do you need to do to bring your firearms into compliance with this rule, if you so desire, I think it is pretty clear there, and we're going to spend some time talking about that, and we'll spend a few minutes talking about what happens if you decide you're not going to comply. So today, let's spend a few important minutes. Let's slow it down for a minute, and let's talk about time's up. Here are your 4 options for ATF's pistol brace rule, plus one more that most of you are choosing. Okay, so it's May 31st. There is no injunction in place for most people, unless, of course, you're perhaps a member of the Firearms Policy Coalition or a named plaintiff in those suits. Congress has not stopped everything, no matter how much they bragged about how they were going to do, and you are down to the final few hours. What do you need to do if you desire to remain in compliance with ATF's new pistol brace rule? You have 4 options. Here's what the 4 options are. We're going to get through 2 of them real quick. Number 1, you can destroy the firearm, okay? We're not going to talk about that anymore. I think all of you can figure out how to destroy a firearm. The second option is you can surrender that firearm to the ATF. Now, if you're not willing to destroy the firearm, why the hell would you turn the thing over to the ATF? And if you were willing to turn it over to the ATF, why don't you just take it out back and cut it up yourself, okay? Cut out the middleman. Okay, the third option, and this is where we begin to get a little bit more complicated, is you can reconfigure the firearm. Now, the easiest way to bring the firearm into compliance with the rule as far as reconfiguration goes is to take any barrel and upper receiver, which has a barrel less than 16 inches, off the firearm, replace it with a receiver and a barrel of at least 16 inches or more, and at that point you are outside the purview of the rule. You do not have a short barrel rifle in any way, shape, or form, and candidly you can take the brace off, put a stock on at that point. That is one way to configure it. The second way that you can reconfigure the firearm, and this is where there is a tremendous amount of confusion, and unfortunately we're going to lack in giving you clarity here a little bit today, is that you can remove the pistol brace. Now, the rule, as we know from watching this video right here, says that the brace has to be permanently removed such that it cannot be reattached. What that means is anybody's guess. The ATF has never offered any clarification. Now, Director Dettelbach offered some clarification on it. He said, hey, it's just as simple as taking the brace off. That's it. That's all you need to do. Take the brace off. And I wish that Representative Massey would have given a little bit more time to keep answering the question. I think he probably would have figured out how to lay out more rope to wrap around his neck at that point, okay? So, we know for certain that if you remove the pistol brace and permanently alter the firearm such that it cannot be reattached, whatever the hell that means, that brings you into compliance with the rule. And yes, there is a distinct possibility that just merely removing the brace, that's it, nothing more, will in fact bring you into compliance with the rule. I personally believe that that does bring you into compliance with the rule. The rule is called Firearms with Attached Stabilizing Braces. If we have a firearm that does not have an attached stabilizing brace, I don't see how it falls under the purview of the rule. Then there is your 4th option, okay? This is perhaps the most time-consuming option, and this is one that I hear very few of you have actually selected to do. But you can register this firearm as a short barrel rifle. You can do so tax-free by using the link down below, which is for the E-Form 1 amnesty registration, which means you get to register this as a short barrel rifle without having to pay the $200 tax stamp. Now, I know that there is a lot of other complications that go into that. Once you have dipped your toes into the NFA waters, they will forever be there. And while it is a very straightforward procedure, understand that moving around the country or transporting those types of firearms or other people being in co-possession of those firearms can be very problematic for both you and them. You want to think this thing through. If in fact, though, you have decided, okay, it's the 11th hour and I'm going to go ahead and register this firearm, please make sure that you are doing so with an amnesty Form 1 registration and that you are not paying the tax stamp. Now, once that Form 1 is approved, if you want to then reconfigure the firearm into a full-blown short barrel rifle with a rifle stock, forward grip, whatever else, you will have the ability to do so. But as of May 31st, today, as the clock winds down on the final hours to bring these firearms into compliance, you have 4 options. They are, number 1, destroy the firearm. Number 2, surrender the firearm to ATF. Number 3, reconfigure the firearm either by removing the upper receiver and replacing it with a barrel of at least 16 inches in length, or removing the pistol brace. And then your final option is to register the firearm as a short barrel rifle under ATF's amnesty registration. Now, those are the 4 options. Here is a 5th option, not one that's offered by ATF, but one that I think many of you have selected, which is, I'm not going to do anything. Okay. And if we take a look at the numbers that we've been getting from ATF, and we take a look at even conservative estimates of how many braced firearms were in existence at the time this rule was published, there is less than 1% of the eligible firearms that have currently been registered with the ATF. Now, I am never trying to tell people how to live their life around here. We at Washington Gun Law do not ever want to tell you how to think, but we do want to give you all the things to think about. There are 2 things you need to be aware of if you decide not to comply with this rule. Number 1, if you are caught on a federal level with unlawful possession of a short barrel rifle, you do face a criminal penalty of up to 10 years in prison and a $10,000 fine. For my Washington viewers, let us also remember, and there are many other states that are going to have similar legislative schemes like this, but under Washington law, RCW 9.41.190, it is not unlawful to possess a short barrel rifle so long as we are in compliance with all federal regulations and laws. So that means that if you are a Washington resident and you decide not to register or reconfigure this firearm and just say, the hell with it, I'm not going to comply with the rule, that is your prerogative. But understand that you could be found in violation of both a federal statute as well as a state statute, both of which constitute felonies. Now, we have reached out to our favorite 3-letter agency to see if they will actually give us some real stats starting tomorrow as to what actually has been registered so we can figure out what the level of compliance is. I do honestly believe that the level of compliance is going to be somewhere well below 2% of all eligible firearms. Listen, you may have more questions about the pistol brace rule or anything else related to what's left of our Second Amendment rights. You guys should know how to contact Washington Gun Law by now, but if you don't, that's okay. That information is right down there in the description box. In the meantime, I do want all of you to remember that part of being the lawful and responsible gun owner, like we talk about all the time here, is to know what the law is in every situation, how it applies to you in any instance that you may find yourself. Until next time, thanks for watching. Stay safe.